Hey, welcome to another Book Talk with Tracy. I am so glad you joined me today because I have something a little bit different planned that I'd like to talk about today. As you may or may not know, I'm a writer, but I'm also an artist. And I love it when art forms kind of come together and when they merge and there's this sort of happy synergy that happens between various art forms. And so today I'm going to tell you a little bit about something kind of cool. It's called Ekphrastic Writing. And you're like, what? Ekphrastic writing. It's actually a word that simply means, writing that takes place when a writer is inspired by a work of art. And, we've seen it in the past with poets, Ode to a Grecian Urn and others. So it's kind of a cool thing. And I've noticed, it's happening in various places. But certainly in my little neck of the woods, we've had an ekphrastic writing contest actually for the last several years. Excuse me. And that goes in conjunction with our annual juried art show. So local arts councils put on an art show every year for the region, and then writers are invited to come and view the art. And if you see something that inspires you, a poem or a short piece of prose or whatever, you can write about it. And it's so fun to, as both a writer and an artist, to see what happens when, how people are inspired or how they interpret your art. So today I wanted to talk about two pieces actually, because I have had in the past one of my own paintings. Someone wrote an ekphrastic poem based on the painting and it blew me away. And I wanted to share that. But I also wanted to share a recent one that I wrote from the most recent art show that I was participating in when I was inspired by a painting. Now, the painting was called Blue Shadows, Red Fox by a local artist named Gary Lowe. And I think before I go any further, I would like to insert just a little video that I took at the actual art show of that piece. And I think it'll give what I'm going to share with you after my little poem that I wrote. And believe me, I'm not a poet, but I do think that poetry is a very succinct and emotional way of responding, especially in this case with ekphrastic writing. So first of all, I'm going to insert that short little video I took so you can see the painting and maybe have some context, and then I'm going to read you the poem that I wrote. So this is a painting, an acrylic painting by Gary Lowe called Blue Shadows, Red Fox. Thank you. I can't read it from here. I was going to have to zoom in. But when I first saw it, you know what? I instantly thought of my mom, so that's why I wrote an ekphrastic piece on it, and I wanted to come and take a picture. Okay, so you've seen the painting, and as you can tell, it's a lovely acrylic. It's kind of a, semi-realistic, I guess, representational, we'd say, of a fox crouching in the forest, and it's winter. You can see snow on the ground, and I love the title, Blue Shadows, Red Fox, because certainly the shadows are very blue in the painting, and it really moved me. There were many lovely pieces, but that one was the only one that when I saw it, I had this instant emotional reaction, and I thought about my mom. Instantly, I came to that place. It's like, oh, and I thought about my own mother because she liked foxes. In fact, there's a few kind of cool things. As a child, she would sing a song to us. It's a familiar song, and excuse my croaking voice, but you've probably heard it. It's the fox went out on a stormy night. He prayed to the moon to give him light. Plenty of miles to go that night before he reached the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh, etc. And it's a whole story about the fox who goes out hunting, and the farmer comes with his gun, and the fox has to be cagey and get into the chicken coop, and eventually at the end he gets a chicken and he brings it home to his little family, and they even ate the bonzo. But it's a great song, and it certainly was a favorite even like for my childhood, but with, her grandchildren and even great grandchildren, I know it was certainly a favorite. It was the fox song, sing the fox song. Everybody loved that. So that was one instant response I had to the painting. And then the other response was also from my childhood. We used to read, Mom used to love to read to us at bedtime, and one of our favorite, probably our favorite of all time, books were books by Thornton Burgess. And one of those, the first book in the series, is called Reddy Fox. And it's about this cunning, sly fox who's in the forest, and he has all kinds of adventures. But the adventures of Reddy Fox. And it just, I don't know, there's just something about that fox imagery that brings this sense of nostalgia and just made me have this very warm feeling when I looked at the painting. Okay, well, that was a long explanation. So I'm going to read the little poem that I wrote. And again, I'm not a poet, but this is what I came up with when I looked at that painting. Nostalgia, instantly resurrected, crouches in curiosity like the fox, alert, ready to flee should memories overwhelm. Oh, the fox went out on a stormy night, prayed to the moon to give him light. He'd plenty of miles to go that night before he reached the town, oh. Head lolls, eyes heavy with slumber, Mum's voice echoing in my memory with the familiar tune sung to generations before and since. We had many adventures together. White-tipped tail, coat of red, sleek black legs, whiskers and ears always at attention. Reddy Fox, as real as any childhood friend. Continue home to the safety of your den. You paused to greet me unexpectedly, embodied in a love long past, appearing when I least expected you. So that's my little piece and my little offering that goes with that lovely painting. So I did mention that I wanted to share another piece of ekphrastic writing, but I'm just noticing even by the look of the clock, I like to keep these short. And so I think I'm going to share the next piece next time. But I think one of the takeaways I want you to have from this episode is that writing is fun. And writing is such a wonderful way to marry art forms. So if you see a piece of art or you're in nature and it inspires you, jot it down. Like, it's great. And sometimes our words have the opposite effect. We can write something that then inspires somebody else to paint a picture, write a piece of music, sing a song or dance or whatever it might be. So, look for those ways that art comes together in your life, because it's such a rich thing. I mean, art is everywhere. All right. I'll see you next time. And in the meantime, you also might want to check out my website and my many books. It's tracykrause.com. There's no E in Tracy. There are 2 S's in Krause. And I will see you next time with more ekphrastic writing.